But I think this will inspire a little bit as well here. Almost 90% of developers say microtransactions don't belong in premium games. And when you brought this up, I 1,000% agree with this. I
Mm-hmm.
think
Mm-hmm.
transactions should only be put in the free to play or even the lower tier, like the half price off games. Keep those microtransactions out of premium games. I don't
Rudix,
want to see premium transactions in
Rudix, I have
Star
a
Wars
question for you.
Outlaws. But yeah,
What do
go.
you think the reason is that 90% of developers say microtransactions don't belong in premium games? What is your opinion on why 90% of them believe that?
Well, when you ask that question, it's 100% because they don't want to put in the extra work to keep updating and maintaining and keeping this pay structure up in a game that they've already spent so much money and time on. I
Yeah,
would
I think
assume
they're
that
tired of their work getting hamstrung. Because if a game
exactly.
releases with certain microtransactions, look at that Star Wars game, Battlefront. Um,
Look at
anyway,
Shadow of War. Look at
But
Shadow of
look
War.
at it.
yeah, very
But
true.
hold on. But hold on. Look at it from an investor's point. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. But look at an investor, somebody that put the money in for you to make this game, and you're not making the money on the game. Well, what do we got to do? We got to do something. We got to put more stuff in there. We got to get these. We got to do something because we ain't making no money. We got to entice them with some colors and some
Yeah,
skins or
Yeah,
something.
it's
We got to
and I
make
think
Well,
that's
money,
where
money, money, money. Maximize our dollars.
all right.
that's
it's
Well,
why
because
I'd like to
it's
90%
say
gonna
is there.
one I'd like to say one thing on that. I think investors who invest in games, it should come with an asterisk. You're making an entertainment product, and it may not always result in maximizing dollars. And I think that
thank you.
developers need to take control of that. Shareholders need to take control of that because gaming is an art form of entertainment, and it shouldn't be always based on what can make the most dollars. But what do
Do you
you all
think?
think?
Well, No Man's
Well,
Sky is
I
getting
was
Okay,
I just
canceled.
want to
Dorgon.
say
We'll go to Dorgon here. I saw
this.
him pop up first. He hit the buzzer.
Do you guys think if these exact same investors went to a painter and asked them to make something now, that they would give them the same sort of hamstrung time frames, profit margins, and all that sort of stuff? It's like they don't understand that it is an art form. That's what it feels like. That's why 90% of developers are saying they don't agree with the microtransactions, because they want to make a piece of art. They want to make something better. And we've seen it with so many games where stuff gets taken out of the game itself and either then resold as DLC or new items are put into an in-game store instead. It just feels like a lack of understanding from my perspective anyhow of the people actually investing the cash and making the product that may not pay back immediately, but look at cult classics. Some of them took 20 years to take off. Sometimes an investment's long term.
Mhm.
Yep. Um,
Well, I was just
absolutely.
gonna
And
say,
yeah,
my
go.
point would have been just basically going off what Dorgan was saying. Also, it's patience. It's patience. Investors need to be patient. Like they want their money now, 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 now. And it's like I don't think, like Dorgan said, I don't think these people realize like these things take time. You know, you don't make a game overnight, and especially with the way the gaming industry is right now, where it's like no one wants to work through crunch. No one wants to work in an office. Everyone wants to work from home. It's like things take time, and I am tired of games being made for investors and not for gamers. So that's why I think that 90% of those developers are right. Like, dude, microtransactions don't belong in a premium $70 game. $20 maybe. Free to play, sure. Why not? Because you know what? It's free, so you should get some kind of money if it's a good game. That's my say.
Well, it's a given. It's a give and take when it comes to that kind of stuff because they all want the new revenue stream that comes in. They don't want to sell you a game every 8 years and get your $60. They want $120 from you every year. That's why we get so many 5v5s and all that stuff. And a lot of that stuff is pushed on the money side of people wanting the money. Look at Concord as an example. Some people are enjoying the game, but it landed with a thud because of they're trying to charge for a game that probably should be free. They should be selling you skins. The industry wants that perpetual growth as well. So not only do you need to make so much money, you need to make more. Every quarter has to be better. And I think that doesn't lend
it has
itself
to keep
to
going up.
artistic
It can never-
impression.
This is
It always has to go up. It can never flatline. It can never go down. If it starts going down, then they start pulling their money.
Let's get
SVG,
to
guys.
Ray. Yeah, we'll get to
This
Ray,
is
and then we'll get to Maker.
this is the first year that I said enough's enough. I'm not getting FIFA, and I'm not getting Madden. Madden, I've given that game's been out for years and years and years and years, and they still doing premium microtransactions, and the game is between $70 to over $100. And guess what? It is still the same game, same type of movement, same type of features. Really nothing new, and they and they and the microtransactions is just ridiculous. So. And they had lots of time. That game, Madden's been out for a long time. That's my put.
Maker.
I guess I look at it as other art forms as like music and movies where there are producers, there are people who want this on a specific deadline and need to have it done. And there's also others that are willing to take their time. And I guess with video games, I also see that. I see projects that are long in the making, like GTA 6, um, where tons of money's put into it, and it takes years and years and years for it to finally come out. Um, I don't know. I think there's always going to be, that business guy who needs it done as a yearly release, or we need a new album out by this year so that we can hit some numbers, stuff like that.
Yeah, and I get it, and I feel almost like entertainment has suffered, and we see less and less things. Vince Vaughn had an article that went viral, and he talked about his movies not being made anymore because they're just not making the money, and that makes his art form suffer. But this
Matt
is the
Damon
world
has
we
said
live in.
exactly the same.
Sorry, who's that?
He said that Matt Damon, he said exactly the same about movies. Because you don't have this sort of double dip with them anymore because of streaming services, anything that goes into the cinema basically has to be a surefire thing because that's the only point that you're getting money from it. You'll get a payment from a streaming service, and sometimes that's per play, sometimes that's the license to be on the service for X amount of time. But all of the money that the studio takes, the actors take, everybody takes to go into the next project comes from ticket sales at the cinema. And maybe we're seeing a similar sort of thing with the subscription services we've got in gaming. These games have to sell gangbusters immediately if they don't go on to subscription services immediately, so that they make money to make the next one. And because you've got to appeal to the widest possible crowd to achieve such sales, everything's sort of becoming a bit anamorphic. Everything's looking very similar, feeling the same. We all saw it from Gamescom Live, opening night live. It basically felt like the same 4 or 5 games being shown off over and over again. So maybe it is an industry that is kind of eating itself a little bit and needs to realize this before it's too late.
Well, one of the problems I find is that these games, much like the movie industries, are costing $300+ million to make a damn game. When you come into that kind of territory, that makes everyone nervous because they're not spending their own money. Let's keep it real. They're going out and getting capital based on an IP, and then they're rolling the dice. They're rolling the dice. And when you roll the dice, you can come up snake eyes. So there's not a lot of innovation. There's not a lot of unique storytelling being done. It's kind of a sausage factory. And once you know how it's made, I don't know. I don't really want to eat sausage. I don't know.
What kind of sausage is it? What kind of sausage is it?
Oh my God,
All
Ray,
right,
drink your
all
coffee.
right. Well, I love all the perspectives. Great
Lost.
conversation on this topic. But I want to get on to something a little bit